Hello, 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 everybody. This is Shelly Rivera, Coffee Anxiety and Love. And on my website, I know a lot of you have probably not had a chance to check it out, but there will be a featured article. And this is coming from our trip last week to Alice. In the midst of going to Alice and being out there for a few days, CJ and I were in the middle of a spiritual fast. And basically, what this is just us, trying to reach a certain level of enlightenment and peace, and to gain a lot more knowledge and clarity. I don't know if anybody's ever fasted before, but with fasting, there's different types. There's intermittent fasting, which a lot of athletes use, or people that are trying to lose weight, which is you're fasting, you're not eating for so many hours, and then you have a window of 8, 6, however, 10 hours that you get to eat your meals for the day during the day. And that helps with, your metabolism, weight loss, things like that. And then there's a water fast, which is basically you're going, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, and you're just drinking and staying hydrated with water. Or some people may even do fruits that are very heavy water based, like melons and watermelons, grapes, things like that. And then there's the spiritual fasting, which is a lot of times what CJ and I do. Now, I've done intermittent fasting for weight loss. And now, since I've been with CJ, we have started our spiritual fasting. Now, in the spiritual fasting, he has actually done so much longer length of time fasting than I have. And he usually does just water. He will not eat. This past time, last week in Alice, we went about 2.5 days, and 2.5, almost 3 days, with just water and some heavy water-based fruits like pineapples, grapes, melon, things like that. And again, spiritual fasting is just for us. When we say spiritual, it's just to help us gain clarity and gain enlightenment on our spiritual journey, which our spiritual journey is a whole nother segment to talk about. But for right now, I have CJ Rivera with me. This is my honey. Hi.
Yeah.
And he's going to talk a little bit. I'm going to ask him a few questions about his spiritual journey, his fasting times, and what exactly is this meaning to him. So right now, CJ, how are you feeling today?
Feel all right. I'm
Yeah,
tired.
yeah. It was a very unexpected morning. We had a really big storm roll through. I might post that later with some hail, and yeah, it was a lot. So we're gonna talk to CJ right now. So baby, when did your journey first start? When do you remember you started thinking about the spiritual fasting?
As far as spiritual fasting, I don't think I started doing that until I got COVID. Um, I I got sick. I got to depressed to the point that I just wasn't eating, and I wasn't hungry. I didn't feel hungry. Um, and I didn't eat for 4 days. And like I said, I didn't feel hungry. I didn't feel any kind of way. But what I gained from that was a lot of mental clarity. And when I say that, I don't know how to describe it accurately other than I was thinking more clearly than what I normally thought before. And thinking in ways that um, it was helping to bring me actually out of my depression. And so from then on, every so often I try to go a day, 2 days, 3 days, try to see how long I can actually take it. And this last time in Alice, I ended up getting sick.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about what happened in Alice. And you're usually going 2, 3, 4 days. And when we're saying fasting to you, it's basically water and a lot of water-based fruits sometimes. I know you've done just water at one point. Um, why do you think you had to stop your fast this time and you got sick?
I was getting a lot of heartburn. And then the coffee didn't help. Really, I think that's a lot of what it was, is because I was moving around so much. I had a lot of the acid reflux, and it was just causing me a lot of the, I guess, nausea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Okay. Okay. So why do you think you started this journey? What other than your time with COVID and the experience that you had there, what came out of that time that helped you start on this journey of spiritual fasting and becoming more spiritual?
it helped open my eyes to see the way society is set up, the way the world is set up, the way everything is run. And when you just constantly going with society and you're doing everything society's doing, you miss those points. You've got your head down in the crowd and you're just following along with everybody else. So you miss certain things, and that comes along with that mental clarity that I was talking about. Is once you have that mental clarity and you start seeing things for what they truly are, the veil starts lifting, and you start making better decisions, and then life starts getting better, and you're able to continue down that same path, and life just continues to get better and better and better.
Okay. All right. So a question that I have here, did you experience any type of breakthrough or anything to that nature while you've been on your journey?
Yeah, definitely. I'm constantly and I mean, I'm not gonna say discovering, but figuring out things that I guess the average person wouldn't figure out. They're not thinking about things like that. They're thinking about everyday life, family, friends, what they're gonna cook dinner, and what they're gonna do this weekend. And I'm thinking about things like, how does the world actually work? How does the universe work? How does the air we breathe and everything? I'm thinking deeper into level of things like that, and it's helping me to figure out just what everything is and the way it works. I really don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, and I think the the actual spiritual part of it, the journey and the leveling up, is going to be, like I said, a totally different discussion for me to have later on and talk about some of the experiences that I've had with this as well. Um, so let's talk about your fasting times. What has been the longest that you've gone without eating or in the fast period?
Right about 96 hours.
96 hours?
Hmm.
Okay, so that's been the threshold for you so far. Do you think you could have gone longer this time around out at Alice? Because we were already 2.5 days in, and like I've already said, that was the longest I've gone not actually eating. All we were doing was water and fruits in the evening, and that was it. There was no actual protein, other carbs, anything like that going in. Do you think you could have gone longer with Alice? And if so, how much longer?
Yeah, I mean, I had 4 grapes that evening. Um, After I got sick and got all of that out of my system, I felt a lot better. I feel like I could have went the rest of the day, and the next day, I mean, hey, we'll see what happens. But at least I could have went that full day, and I just decided to eat because let me get something in my stomach so I don't throw up again.
And again, out there at Alice, he was doing a different type of work than he usually has done through his fastings. Most of the time, when he was fasting before, uh, he's usually doing his artwork, his napping, things like that. He's not typically out in the sun, moving around, doing hard work. And while we were out in Alice, he was actually in the sun for very like 6, 7, 8 hours a day. So I think that had a lot to do with us having to slow down this time around. Um, Now, through fasting, have you experienced really extreme hunger pangs or anything to that nature? Or what would you say to people that want to try to spiritual fast or to fast? I'm sorry. What would you say to people that will want to fast but are in fear of the hunger pains?
Um, I'd say once you start experiencing the hunger pains, if you can push past that a little bit longer, you should be fine, because that's the worst part. And this is where people are not going to believe this, but a lot of the times the reason you start to feel those pains is because the parasites, we've all got them, everybody's got worms, but the parasites start to die off, and they're trying to make you hungry so that you go and feed them. Once those pains go away, I mean, I'm good. That's usually the first day, and then I'm good 2-3 days. I can go, a few days, and I don't feel hungry. I don't feel any kind of lack of energy or anything like that. I feel fine. I feel very energized, very awake and aware. Um, Food just makes you sluggish, and I don't know how to explain that unless you try to do the fast. Once you get to, like I said, once you get past those pains, keep going. Test your limits. I mean, of course, if you start feeling weak, of course, get something to eat. Don't kill yourself. Don't push yourself to the limit. But you can definitely test your limits and see how far you can go without making yourself sick.
Okay, very good, very good. And my 2 cents on that as well is, like I said, this last week, that was the first time I really completely focused on it. And yeah, he's right. The first day was the hardest day. I did have the hunger pangs in the evening, but the next day I was good. And the morning that we had to break the fast and eat, I still wasn't completely hungry, but I ate because he needed to eat. So, we ate together just to break what the cycle was at that time. But I do feel confident that I could have went, at least that day, like you said, and then see what the next day brought. But I confidently think I could have went, that day and another day. So anything else you want to say out there to people who want to try fasting, and not so much a spiritual fast? We're talking about spiritual fast in CJ's situation, but fasting itself. Is there anything else besides, pushing yourself past that initial first day? Is there anything else, any other, suggestions or recommendations or anything else that you would tell people who want to try fasting?
Stay hydrated. Drink a lot of water. If your stomach starts to hurt, drink some more water. Fill it with water. Now, don't drink too much water that you throw up water, but drink some water. It helps to get through it. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, guys. Thank you, sweetie. I love you so much. And thank you guys for tuning in and watching this video. If there are any questions, if you have any questions about fasting or even intermittent fasting, and like I said, intermittent fasting is going to be more what athletes and those who are trying to lose weight are going to be doing. So they're going to be going, 16 hours without, eating, and then, the rest of the time they have this window, 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever they want to do within that time to eat the rest of their meals. And no, you're not stuffing yourself and cramming everything in. No, you're timing out your meals, and you're making sure that you're getting, every base covered when you do finally start eating. Intermittent fasting helps with athletes trying to lose weight, or just people in general trying to lose weight, working out. It just helps boost your metabolism, like I said. Fasting itself, there's water fasting, which is just that. It is, water fasting. You're just drinking water, staying hydrated, make sure you have enough electrolytes in your body. That's not recommended to go long term. You shouldn't do that for very long. Your body will not do well just on water itself. You do need nutrients. And then spiritual fasting, we're going 2, 3, 4 days of spiritual fasting, sometimes a week at a time. And that's just what we prefer to do to stay healthy and in balance with nature, and just enlighten ourselves and make ourselves more knowledgeable and more aware of the things that are around us and surrounding us, and some of the manifestations that are coming to us. It just helps us clarify and allow all those things to come into us. So thank you again very much for joining us today. This is Shelly Rivera, Coffee, Anxiety, and Love. And as always, I wish you a happy, healthy, prosperous, and abundant day. Thank you.